Welcome back to Explain America. This is your host, Kyle Becker. There are still lingering doubts among many Americans that the 2020 election was above board in all aspects, that it was the most secure election in U.S. history. And now the Trump administration has announced that they have found truckloads of evidence that there were many wrongdoings in the 2020 election. That's right, there was rampant malfeasance. And the looming question about this all, how did Joe Biden get 81 million votes? Well, that's going to be answered pretty soon, according to the Trump administration. But before we get into this story, please like, share, and comment at Explain America. Join us. We appreciate your support for common sense journalism. Well, President Donald Trump has been hammering home for many, many years that the 2020 election was fixed in many regards. And certainly you could make the argument that the way that the states, particularly many swing states, changed their election rules outside of the authority of Congress and even in some cases their state legislatures was not constitutional. It wasn't legal. But of course, we'll never get a final resolution to that because the Supreme Court case that was filed by Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton in that election, attempting to represent many states in their grievances against the 2020 election practices, that was not heard. That was dismissed without even a fair hearing. And so there is still the need to decide what happened in that election because, quite frankly, there were a lot of shady dealings in it, to say the very least. Of course, we all read the Time magazine article about the shadow cabal and the unions and radical organizations. That may very well have been legal. It certainly fortified the election, but when it is all said and done, such things as the CIA and former Intel community members working together to dismiss the reports about Hunter Biden's laptop, all of the censorship that was involved with that and following that regarding the 2020 election, it has led to this black cloud hanging over this big event in U.S. history. So Donald Trump, he says that his administration is about to release truckloads of what he says proves that the 2020 election was fixed by Democrats. I'm paraphrasing here. He also says evidence Gavin Newsom is, manipulating California elections with mail-in ballots. And this is what Donald Trump had to say. Please weigh in with your thoughts about this and the 2020 election. We always appreciate hearing from you at Explain America.
That's all they're good at cheating in elections, very good at cheating. They're professionals at cheating because we won in 2016 by a lot. The election was rigged in 2020. We have all the ammunition, all the stuff, and you'll see it come out. It's coming out in truckloads. And California's election, New York also, but California more than any other place is so rigged. It's such a rigged election. You know, we won the Hispanic vote. So a lot of people say Republican wouldn't win California, but I won the Hispanic vote. I won in Miami. Think of that. In Miami, I won the Hispanic vote. Along the Texas border, I won every single city or town touching the Texas border, and they're 85 to 90% Hispanic. We won the Hispanic vote. If the vote in California was legitimate, which it's not, they have 38 million ballots. Everything is mail-in voting. They mail out 38 million ballots. And they come in. Where the hell do they go and where do they come from? It's a rigged election in California because we would win California by a lot. And again, they feel they have the advantage with Hispanic. They don't.